This is MK Snap, where we all belong. Pull up a chair, bring your story, your song. We rise, we learn, yeah, before we get through. Side by side with the dragon named Blue. This is MK Snap, every voice, every view. Different paths, but they all pass through. We share, we care, and we say it stays true. Hand in hand with the dragon named Blue.
Welcome back to Snap Radio. So we've got a special guest. We've got another Jack. How are we, Jack?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for using your time coming here. You could have been on a beach or something. But thanks for coming here. First of all, did you always want to work in law, or did you end up there by accident?
So I think the answer to that question is probably a little bit of both. Funnily enough, we were talking just before about the police force.
Yeah.
And I used to want to go into the police. And so as a result, when I was choosing my A-levels, I thought, law would be a good one to study for the sort of background information, criminal law. But actually I enjoyed it so much that I ended up doing a law degree. And now I've been in the profession for over 8 years, so it's just kind of flown by. But yeah, no. So I'd always wanted to be in or around law.
Yeah.
But actually, I didn't realise exactly what I wanted to do until I started my A-levels.
I don't think anyone knows what they want to do until they actually get it. Because I got a job, I didn't know I wanted to do that, but I love it.
Yeah, I mean it's quite rare actually to know exactly what you want to do, especially when you're at a young age and you're at school. You're choosing, what you're studying, or you're thinking about, what kind of thing, what kind of career you might want to go into. I meet people all the time that are 40, 50 that say, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
So actually finding something that you love and you enjoy, actually, it's amazing. Yeah, I feel quite lucky.
Well done. What do you actually do at HCR Law, and what does a typical work day look like?
So I support charities and charitable organisations with legal problems.
Okay.
That might be from setting up a brand new charity, or it might be helping a charity change the way they do things, the way they operate. I also quite often deliver training to trustees and senior leadership at charities, so that I can talk about making sure that they're complying with their duties and actually that they're running their charity in the most effective way possible. Because at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of, here it's the learners, but any other charity it might be, homeless people, or people that are unwell, or people that need more support with things like education. I feel really, really lucky to be able to support charities in that way. And I also give charities employment advice. Okay. Just kind of strategic advice around things like contracts of employment, other sort of employee issues, and just making sure again that they're complying with what they need to be, so that they can focus on doing what they were set up to do and helping the people they were set up to support.
That sounds really good. What skills do you use in your job, and what people might not expect? What skills do you use? And I didn't know anything about you when I met you. What might not I expect, and other people might not expect that you do at work?
So I think a lot of my work is about communication skills. I think quite often people see, and this is because of film and TV, people see lawyers as, cold, boring, maybe a little bit awkward. But actually, so much of the job involves talking to just normal people, and actually it's interesting and sometimes challenging to try and explain what are often quite complex matters to someone that has no pre-existing knowledge. If I throw out all these big legal words, it might not mean anything to them, so I think that's probably a slight misconception, thanks to things like Suits and and similar. I think as well, something else that I use a lot in my job that's not often spoken about, even in the legal profession, is creativity. I've always had quite an interest in language, and actually it's part of the reason that I did ultimately decide to do a law degree and pursue a career in law. It's really, really interesting because when you're looking at a contract or an agreement, or something like a policy for a charity, one single word instead of another word can change the meaning and the effect of that particular document completely. And actually we spend as lawyers a lot of time obsessing over a single word or a punctuation mark, because actually it can be the difference between a good job and there's no problem in allowing a charity to support the people they support, or actually just causing a bigger issue. So actually it's about creatively thinking how I've got this issue, this problem that I need to address, how can I effectively do that in a way that achieves what the charity wants it to do and doesn't cause any problems. And actually that's both the most rewarding and sometimes challenging part of the job.
Yeah, because when I think of law, I think it's got to be like law, you're in court and you're defending someone who might be getting sentenced. That's how I see law. I didn't know there was different types of law. That might be because I'm from London and all it is about is criminal law, but I didn't know there was law to do with charities. I never knew that. I would have known that without you telling me, or without someone else telling me.
Yeah, I mean, criminal law is, it's the juicy one. It's the one that the TV dramas are always about. And actually, you're right. Things like charity law specifically, people just don't know that that's a thing. And actually, in the sector, there are very few. There are some, but there are very few dedicated charity lawyers compared to, say, criminal or property or private client, because it is quite it presents different issues, I think, for lawyers when they're dealing with it, and actually for charities complying with it, because charities don't always have all the money in the world.
No.
They need to make sure that they are doing things properly and in a way that's going to protect them, but actually quite often funds, they're a luxury. They don't necessarily have lots of money to be spending on legal fees.
No.
Yeah.
That sounds really good, actually. The next one, sorry, I'm just looking up the questions I've got already. Do you need to be really clever or excel at school to work in law?
No.
No.
Lots of people that I work with don't have
With the facilities.
they don't have a first from Oxford.
I think I might work in law then.
I think there are of course people that do have those skills that work in law.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that everyone that works in law doesn't have those skills. But I think it's more about people from different backgrounds coming in and actually being successful lawyers and showing that you don't need to have a first from Oxford or Cambridge. And actually, any law degree is amazing. Any degree is an achievement in itself. But actually, the sector is more accessible than it's ever been. You don't even need a degree anymore. You can do something called a legal apprenticeship, which is like similar to a practical apprenticeship where you learn on the job, and you don't need a degree for that. You get practical experience, and then the firm that you're working for pay for your studies in your spare time. And it does take a little bit longer, but actually it's a really good way of getting that experience and the qualifications hand in hand, because often you might have all of the qualifications in the world, but if you don't have any experience, then you're going to struggle. But actually, and vice versa, but actually the legal apprenticeship is a fantastic way of being the best of both worlds. Yeah, so to answer your question, no, you don't need to. No, you don't need to.
Right, so now when I talk to people, I say you don't need to be brain of Britain, you can be a lawyer.
Yeah.
in different types of ways.
100%. Yeah, I think it's about finding your area that you're passionate about as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's always easier to learn about something, because don't get me wrong, there is learning involved, of course, because you need to really understand your area. But if you feel passionate about that area or that topic, it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 'cause you can argue it, can't you?
Yes.
When you're passionate about it. I'm passionate about many things. Sometimes I can't argue about it because it's terrible what's going on, but sometimes I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. What skills do you think are important than formal qualifications?
I think probably confidence is one of them. There's lots of people that I think have too much confidence and not necessarily, you know, being able to back it up.
Yeah.
But actually, I think there is a good level of confidence where it helps you, and it helps you in everything you do, but especially so in work. So it's about finding that sweet spot, I think. So I think confidence is one of them, because actually, you know, I'm not, and I haven't always been, a very confident person.
Yeah.
But I'm good at seeming like I'm confident, and that helps, I think.
Yeah.
Because actually, people find it reassuring. If you sound like you believe in what you're saying and what you're talking about and how you hold yourself, actually, people find that very, very reassuring and trusting. So I think confidence is one of them. I think probably another is social skills.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that's sometimes difficult, because you can't always control where your base level of social skills are, and that's the same for everyone across the whole world. But actually, again, that goes hand in hand with confidence, because people love one of the things I've realised, I do a lot of networking and things like that, a lot of talking to clients and similar. People love talking about themselves.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot in my workspace.
Yeah. You know, it's a saying for a reason, and I don't mean that in a vain way.
No.
I don't mean that in a people love talking about themselves, but actually that's a really, really good tip that I've sort of learned / taught myself over the years, because it makes these conversations
easier.
Flow so much easier.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And actually, sometimes that's all the social skills are. It doesn't mean standing up and delivering a talk in front of 1,000 people. It doesn't mean sitting down with 1 or 2 people in a room and talking about a podcast. You know, I think it's about how you make people feel.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's a better descriptor than social skills.
Yeah, no, definitely, I definitely agree. People do love to talk about themselves, me included, to be honest. What would you say to someone who thinks they're good enough for work?
That thinks they're not good enough to work.
Thinks they're good enough. So we've got a workplace. I want to clarify to the snap. We've got a workplace on that here, and some people are good enough to work, but they just haven't got the confidence.
Yeah.
So if someone thinks they are confident, what would your message of advice be to them to get into work?
I think it's a difficult one, and it's not only an issue probably in this building and the people that come
everywhere,
here, but everywhere. It's about getting your foot in the door somewhere, and it's about getting someone to take a chance on you.
Yeah.
Because I think confidence is something that we were just speaking about how important it is, and actually, if you've already got that confidence, that is half the battle. But I think the difficulty with working is it's a lot easier, and especially when you're interviewing for a job and meeting people for the first time, I think it's a lot easier to sell yourself in person. I think a paper CV or an email or a covering letter doesn't give a full picture of who you are as a person.
No.
And I know for a fact that when I come here and when I bring colleagues or friends or contacts here, and they spend time with the learners and talking to the staff, the volunteers, the trustees, you know, it puts a smile on their face. And so I think to those who think they're ready for work, or feeling confident that they're ready for work, but maybe are struggling, I think I'd just say keep at it, because all it takes is someone to take a chance on you.
Yeah.
And actually, when you sit down and get in front of them, that's going to be the most amazing thing to them.
I think a lot of people in this building anyway, their struggle is, will I lose my money? Will I lose my income? So Snap are trying to work with that, and our partner, business partner, friend herself, trying to work on getting that to the House of Commons and saying people with disabilities should be able to work without worrying about will they lose their income, because everyone's entitled to their income.
Yes.
No matter if you've got disabilities or haven't got disabilities, everyone's entitled to their income.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's not. It should be about incentivising and encouraging people that aren't working at the minute but don't want to lose their income to be able to go out and do that. Do those things. It doesn't have to be a full-time job.
No.
It can be a few hours a week, because or a few days a week. It doesn't matter. I think just getting out there and having that kind of sense of routine would be great. Yeah, it's good for me. If I have a week off work, or if it's between Christmas and New Year and I've got a few days off work, I think not having that routine of getting up and going to work every day, it throws you off.
Yeah.
And then the day before you go back to work, you think, I can't get back to sleep. What's going on? And it's because you've lost your routine. And actually, I think routine's another thing that's really, really good for people.
Yeah, for anyone. Yeah. I love a routine.
Yeah.
To be fair. 10 o'clock I wind up stuff, 11 o'clock I go to sessions, 12 o'clock I eat my lunch, and stuff like that. But no, I totally agree. So yeah, what is the hardest part? What is the hardest part of your job, and what is the best part?
I think probably the hardest part is that it can sometimes be demanding.
Yeah.
It is a lot, and it is, especially at the minute, we're really busy, which is good because it means we are doing, as we said earlier, supporting charities to be the best that they can be. I think one of the probably one of the most difficult things about working with charities is that we work with charities that are brand new and that have got maybe a few £1,000s income a year. And equally, we work with charities that have got hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of pounds of income a year. And actually, the charities with the smaller incomes have different needs to charities with the bigger incomes. And actually, it's a bit of a catch-22 because the larger charities probably already have in place the mechanisms that they need to be able to work in the best way that they can. But the charities that are just starting up, that is often a passion project, they're starting completely from the ground and building up. And actually, even disregarding things like money and income, it's time consuming. And sometimes, people that set charities up have jobs as well, or, they have family and friends and they want to have a social life. So I think working with the smaller charities is the most difficult in terms of, we have to have conversations about how we can best do things and how we can best support them without or whilst still making sure that they can apply the little money they do have to the people that they help. But actually, when we get it right, it's one of the most rewarding parts.
Yeah, I bet.
I think in terms of the best part of my job, I'd probably say that I'm very, very lucky, and I feel very lucky to be able to work with tens, maybe hundreds of charities. As a team, we act for over 400 charities at any one given time. And I think for me, the best part of my job is protecting the stories of those charities. Because every charity has a story behind it. It might have been established for 5, 10, 15 years or a week. And actually, the amount of time and passion and cause that's gone into setting up and maintaining that charity, it's a beautiful thing.
See, I always think of a charity as a plant. It starts from the roots and then it grows and grows and gets bigger and bigger. And a lot of charities have done that in Milton Keynes. I've seen loads of charities in Milton Keynes that have done that. They become bigger and better. They might have had a new building, or they might have had a newer staff, or more awareness around in the area. So yeah, every charity grows in different ways. And you guys are doing an amazing job with the charities you're helping and stuff like that. So credit to you guys, and that's another handshake. Not many people get that, so you're quite lucky. So another would be, what's one thing you wish people understood about your job?
That not all lawyers are boring. I think I work with, and I'm actually really, really lucky to work with amazing people.
Yeah.
People that are really, truly passionate about what they do, and that's rarer than you might think. And people that I've worked with for years and years and years that have genuinely become amazing friends.
That's good.
And I think sometimes there's this perception that lawyers are, all suits and boots and charging tens
And those
of thousands
wigs that
of
you were
pounds.
wearing in court.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, of course there are lawyers like that, probably, but
Yeah.
I don't know any of them.
No.
Everyone that I work with
Is a good egg.
is a good egg, yeah, and everyone I have worked with, and probably everyone I will work with in the future.
And hopefully after this podcast, everyone you've met, it's a good egg.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I've got lots of good eggs in my life.
That's good. That's really good. So again, what's the best advice you've never ever been given?
I thought about this a lot.
Yeah.
The one that I kept coming back to is my granddad would always say, "Don't eat yellow snow." I thought I can't say that,
Yeah.
but I've just said it.
That's fine.
So
There's no filter. You can always edit it out if you want it to be edited out. I mean, I've had a lot worse. I've been given a lot worse in life.
yeah, I
But
think.
no, yeah, you can elaborate on that if you.
Yeah, I mean, my granddad was a very influential man
Yeah.
to me. He was a real inspiration to me. He was when we were children, he would talk to me and my sister
Yeah.
as if we were adults, and as if we had.
I feel like granddads have no filters.
No, they don't.
They
They
say
don't.
how it is because they've been brought up in that world where it's done how it is.
Yeah, exactly. And he was the most intelligent man as
Yeah.
well. And actually, only when I got older and I started to get some of that intelligence for myself,
Yeah.
did I really appreciate his
No, yeah.
quirks.
Yeah.
And actually, I think my family quite often tell me I'm quite similar to him, and I always see that as a massive compliment.
Yeah.
I think in terms of practical advice, sometimes I think that the best advice you can receive isn't advice that's told to you, it's advice or behaviours that you observe. There's been lots of people over my career and over my life who have said things that have really stuck with me, whether I've realised it at the time or not. I think spending time with people that you find inspirational and you look up to, sometimes I think that's the best advice you can not be told, just by watching.
Yeah. Definitely. No, thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. Why do you and HCR chose to support MK Snap? No pressure now.
MK Snap's a beautiful charity. I have supported it on and off for several years. I couldn't even say to you since I was, 10, 12, 13. I can't remember. It's been that long. It's been bits here and there, like coming to quizzes or coming to events or the firewalk, or last year I did a run in Milton Keynes and all of the learners made T-shirts for me and my colleagues that were running, which was beautiful and one of the most amazing things I've ever done. So the truth is, I've supported MK Snap for so long that
since you're probably a little toddler.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And you know, my passion for the charity's only grown, and I've only come to appreciate it more and more and more
Since you got older.
each time I
I
come.
feel like you appreciate things more when you get older.
Yeah.
Because I certainly do appreciate things when I've gotten older. When I was younger, I was like, yeah, that's alright. But now, I never knew Snap existed when I was younger. But now being part of Snap, it's like a second home, a second family.
Yeah.
I mean, I love all the staff here. I don't like anyone, and that's quite a rare thing for me. Where normally I would not like someone, even if they're a bad footballer or something. But everyone here is quite amazing, and they've made a big impact on me anyway. And I said to the centre director before I saw you, when I now become a millionaire, millions will be going into this charity. Well, I'd like to think I'll become a millionaire.
Yeah.
I'll be getting us a gardener.
Yeah, I'll do the same when I become a millionaire.
A lot will be coming to this charity from me personally, because I love it and I'll never forget MK Snap.
Yeah.
It's one place I would never not want to come to.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, it's, you know, of course the staff are amazing. Like, they're amazing people. They love what they do. But actually, the learners as well.
Mm-hmm.
They are the most infectious, like, beautiful people in the world.
They are, including me, frankly.
And of course. But coming here to the
I mean, even saying one learner's been here 25 years, that says everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get that everywhere.
You keep coming back and back and back, and there's a reason for that. And seeing the smiles on the learners' faces every time I come while they're here makes it all worth it. And it makes me realise or remember why I feel so strongly about this charity.
Yeah, it's a very good charity.
It is. It's an amazing place.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think quite often I talk to colleagues or contacts about it, but there's only so much
You can tell them.
that I can tell them. And I always say, you know, if you want to experience it for yourself, come and visit.
Even for a coffee.
Best
coffee and milk tea. Sorry,
Yeah,
Starbucks.
no.
Sorry, can't stop.
No, you're quite right.
I've done it.
You're quite right. Yeah, cake as well. Amazing
the
cake as well.
And it's all homemade by the learners the day before or the day after. Well, mostly the day before, 2 days before.
Yeah.
Usually made by our own learners.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been in there making a cake, but I'll take the credit for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone from behalf of me and the learners, that you guys at work. Thank you for supporting MK Snap for so long and being a good sort of ambassador for MK Snap, and I appreciate that.
That's my
And
genuine
I'm sure
pleasure.
other learners appreciate you guys helping us. Because in a way, when we first started, I went here when MK Snap first started, they was in Kiln Farm, and obviously we heard lots of things about that building, and then they moved over to here. Thank you to Peter Wilson, you legend. He helped us get the funds for this building, and that was really good. So yeah, I'll carry on because I'll be here all day. What does being part of MK Snap community mean to HCR Law?
I think it's about giving back and sort of shining a spotlight on MK Snap. You know, me personally, there's only so much that I can do. You know, I have LinkedIn, or, you know, I can talk to my colleagues about what an amazing place MK Snap is, but actually the firm is in, there are ways that I can support MK Snap in maybe a way that the firm as a whole can't, but HCR has other means and other, you know, ways of being able to support MK Snap that I can't do myself. I mean, we're planning on running and sponsoring a charity quiz for MK Snap.
With MK Snap, we love our runners.
Yes.
So many runners run for us in marathons and whatever.
Yeah.
Still need to get sent directly to the London Marathon, but we'll wait till we decide to do that.
Yeah, I think, so I did a run for MK Snap last year. It was only 5k though, but
it's still a run.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
I've never done a run for MK Snap because I can't run.
Yeah.
I end up in the bush.
I'm
But
sure.
no, I get what you mean. It's still a run, even if it's 1k, 5k.
Yeah.
You've still made an effort to get out of your way, get out of your spare time and do a run
Yeah.
for an amazing charity.
Yeah, I've always thought, and it would need to be at least a couple of years because I need to get fit again, but I've always thought I would love to run a marathon, and when I do, I'd love to do it on behalf of MK Snap.
Can we get that down in writing?
Yeah.
But no, one of
Got it
the staff did a London marathon, and I must say she had about a week off where she said it was so painful with her legs and their feet. She said it was very painful. So
Yeah.
I'd like to wish you best luck.
Thank you.
on the marathon.
It's going to be at least 3 years.
No, definitely. Okay, so how does supporting MK Snap make you feel personally, not just as a company?
Personally, it just fills me with joy. You know, I've said a few times about coming here and seeing the learners, but especially so last year when we were doing the 5K,
Yeah.
and we came in and designed the T-shirts with the learners. It just makes me feel incredibly proud. You know,
Yeah.
I had such a lovely day when I came in, and my colleagues that joined me did as well. And actually, when we were running, I felt incredibly proud to be, you know, representing a charity that does so much good for so many people in MK and for such a long time as well. I think I just want to be able to tell everyone, you know, friends, colleagues, family, people that I don't know, what an amazing place MK Snap is, because it really, really, really deserves all of the credit in the world. You know,
Yeah.
I will always do all I can to push the spotlight and keep the spotlight on MK Snap.
Well, thank you for that. It does mean a lot to us. I know some of the learners just want to talk about what you had for dinner and what you had for breakfast, but it does mean a lot to all of us. I mean, we wouldn't have a place to go to without all the staff and all of you guys supporting us. So imagine what, I mean, I would definitely be stuck at home, or we go to another charity that's not as good, it doesn't do as much good as Snap does for us, like educationally wise. Because I think Snap and Milton Keynes is the only charity in Milton Keynes that focus on education and focus on like sort of progressing in the future when you might not need a charity anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, me and a number of other learners have got a workplace, started a workplace, and they've been offered a job out of it in M&M Supplies, where someone who probably Frank Vassell, I don't know if you heard their name, he owns a company in Bletchley where he offered some of us and other learners, about 30 of us that go there, if you're doing volunteering or you're doing work there, and that's a great start to life. Have a job and have someone to believe in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
And
you said.
when we were speaking earlier about people that feel that they're ready for work, but you know maybe are struggling to get that work experience.
Yeah.
Actually, looking at their fellow learners that have been able to get those work placements or that volunteering opportunities, that's proof that you can absolutely do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that inspires lots of the other learners as well.
Yeah,
Thinks, you know, that could be me.
Yeah.
That could be any of us. It
Yeah.
could be all of you.
It could
They
be,
might take you all on.
We'll have to start calling it M&M, start calling it MK Snap Supplies.
Yeah.
No, definitely. What do you think MK Snap really? What do you think MK Snap does really well for the learners? I mean, I know we've touched a little bit on it, but in your opinion, what's the best thing that the Snap does for the learners, including me and the other guys?
I mean, we've spoken about the work experience, which is obviously fantastic, and
Yeah.
you know, giving the learners opportunities that, through no fault of their own, they might not otherwise have. But I think the one thing that I keep coming back to and that I keep telling people about is some of that art that's made by the learners.
The art is very good.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you know, I never excelled at art at school.
Yeah, I mean, I did a podcast with someone who's brilliant at art, and he inspired me to take a go at canvas art. And I never thought I couldn't even, like, I thought my art was stick men, stick ladies, that's it.
Yeah.
But no, I've done 2 paintings, and I tell everyone I've done it because I feel so proud about
Yeah,
it.
honestly, and you should. Like, it's amazing. Some of what the learners, and I've not seen any of your work, but I'm sure it's
No.
absolutely beautiful as well.
I'll show you after this.
Yeah,
I
I'd love to.
Sure,
Yeah.
Steve wouldn't mind me.
Yeah.
Wasting a bit of extra time.
But it's-
We're not wasting time, but showing you
No,
a bit
of
of our work.
course. Yeah, and it's absolutely right that you're all having that spotlight shone on you,
Yeah.
and being supported by the charity and, you know, by external people from other companies that are in a position to help shine that spotlight. It's
Yeah.
amazing, and it's the thing that I keep telling people about again and again and again.
Yeah. No, definitely. I definitely agree. So yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, what do you think inclusion and support at work is important? So I'm guessing that question. So break it down. So your job, you work for a law firm. Someone who comes into your law firm might have autism or might have some sort of learning disability. Why is it important to have them in the firm and maybe like make different adaptations to them? Because when I go to work, I feel I'm scared. Not scared, nervous. I was nervous when I first went. Now I feel like I can go in and be like Jack the Lad or whatever. So how do you think it's important for different work companies to have things like that?
Yeah.
A base for people who have learning disabilities to feel comfortable in a normal workplace.
Yeah, I mean, I think being able to talk to and interact with and work closely with people that do have learning disabilities or things like autism or ADHD or anything like that, actually it just kind of expands your worldview and helps you understand people a bit more. And a minute ago you said that if you, or when you used to go to work, you'd feel nervous, and everyone, regardless of whether they've got a learning disability or not, feels or has felt nervous. I feel nervous sometimes.
Yeah.
Quite often, actually. And actually, it's just a reminder that everyone has that base level of nervousness or worry or feeling that they're not good enough. But actually, everything's relative. What might make me nervous or what might make you nervous may be lower or higher than anyone else, in any given place, workplace or otherwise. So I think really, having people that have got learning disabilities in the workplace and making them feel supported and included, I think it can only make us better people. More open people, better at talking about these things, because sometimes I think it's getting better, but I think sometimes as a country we've not been the best at talking about these things.
No.
And it's not just learning disabilities, it's
most things.
Yeah, it's lots of different things like money, things like mental health. We haven't always been good at being open and honest about these things, and that's not to say that we're lying, but actually it's about understanding people's viewpoints. And I think the more we can do of that, and the more we can talk to people and they can tell us about their experiences, I think the better we'll be.
Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely agree with that. I must say, you're a great person. I know why your name's Jack.
Thank you.
Why is it important for people to be given chances even if they learn differently or need more support?
I mean, I think that probably leans into what I was saying a second ago about, in terms of relativity. Everyone needs a level of support. Just because someone might need more support to help them be the best that they can be, doesn't mean that they should be treated any differently at all.
No, exactly.
And it doesn't mean that they should doubt their self as much as anyone else. I think I'm putting my employment hat on here, but employers do have a duty to be making reasonable adjustments for people that have got protected characteristics, of which disabilities is one of them. It's quite. I was told years and years and years ago about. I can't remember if it was here or if it was somewhere else. I can't remember even who told it to me, but they were talking about learning disabilities in terms of a race, like a 100 meters race, and they were saying sometimes running a 100-meter race when you've got a learning disability can be like starting 50 meters behind, or your competitors are halfway there or 2/3 of the way there, and before you can even really get started they've finished. So they were telling me about making slight adjustments, and in this metaphor it's distance, but making slight adjustments to make the playing field level, because everyone should be given a chance, because everyone, and especially people here, are capable of doing amazing things.
Definitely. No, 100%. I think you should get you like a statue, though, or like a quotation, like a frame somewhere, because I must say you know your stuff. Okay, so what would you say to the learners who might not realise how much their work and progress matters? Because there are learners who are not confident. There are learners who think, "Oh snap, yeah, they can snap," and then they might not take what they've really done and change some of the staff and some of the select directors, his lives, and even making them smile. When I come in and I see Steve and he's happy, he's always happy. Not when Arsenal lose, so that hasn't been happening a lot this season, but learners cheer up Steve, and they cheer his dog up, and they cheer other staff up, like Claire and Leslie and all the other staff, and even the trustees when they come, they always leave with a smile, and like yourself, you say you always leave with a smile when you're here.
Yeah. I think, I'd like to just, you spoke about Steve a second ago, I'd like to talk about Steve briefly. I've known Steve for many years, again, too many to count, and not only is he incredibly passionate about what he does, but he's also really, really good at it. You know, and I can see it on his face and in his eyes, the pride that he has in you know, making MK Snap the best place it can be for the learners.
I think you should get an MK Snap tattoo. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like his years he's been here.
MK Snap tattoo and maybe an MBE.
Oh, definitely an MBE. Definitely. Only if you let me go with them.
Yeah. I think in terms of talking to the learners and talking about why progress matters, I would also just say progress does take time. You know, you're not going to, and no one's going to pick up a hobby or a skill one day. And it's like picking up a guitar, and, now having never played it before and expecting to be an expert overnight. It just doesn't happen. So, and that can be frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, it can absolutely be frustrating. But I think the best thing I can say is stick at it, because the skills that the learners are developing here, you know, they're the kind of things that they can take with them through the rest of their life, regardless of where they go and what they do. And actually, it's the kind of thing that they can develop more and more and more and more and more. And we have no idea where that's going to lead to. I mean, we spoke about the art earlier. Yeah. Some of it genuinely could be in a gallery. I mean, you know.
Well, we have got a big display going up at Unity Place.
Yes,
where
of
we're
course.
doing a art sort of show where we put all of our art.
Yeah.
Which is amazing in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few artists here that could give Van Gogh a run for his money.
Yeah, I completely agree. And actually, I'm coming to the Unity Place event
I'll
next
be there,
week.
definitely.
So I look forward to catching up with you then. Yeah, I'm really, really honoured to be there and celebrating.
No, definitely. I think you should. I mean, there's other events you can come to as well. Our sports day, you can get some of your colleagues to go down and help out.
Absolutely.
That'll be a really good laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the staff are more competitive than the learners.
Yes, of course.
It's always a good day, sports day. I mean, I love sports day.
Yeah.
Never used to like it in school.
No,
I love it. It's It's brilliant.
Yeah. It's funny actually because lawyers there's lots of misconceptions about lawyers that we spoke about earlier, but actually one of the conceptions that is true is that they're all very, very, very competitive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So they'd love the sports day.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, I've got one last question. What message would you give directly to MK Snap learners?
Keep doing exactly what you're doing. Every time I come, I leave with a smile. Everyone here is smiling. It's the most beautiful place.
Yeah.
And actually, I'd like to finish with a colleague of mine came to visit probably 5 or so years ago.
Yeah.
And he's a really, really good guy, a really, really good lawyer. Doesn't often show his emotion because, you know, he's a professional and he prefers to keep that to himself. Yeah. But after he'd come to visit MK Snap, he told me about a conversation that he'd had with one of the staff members here, and my colleague had said, where did the learners go at the weekend? What do they do after Friday? What do they do Saturday and Sunday? And the member of staff at MK Snap responded and said that they wait for Monday to come around.
Yeah.
Because they can come back here. And that, I think, is the perfect example of, I couldn't put into words any better than that what an amazing place this is and the effect that it has on the learners.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I always have to buy your statue, really. I think it might be your statue has to be bigger than Steve's. But it might not be bigger. Steve's pretty tall, so it might have to be
he
smaller.
is. Yeah,
but
that's all right.
I want to say thank you for coming on today. It's been a massive pleasure.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll definitely stay in contact. We'll get you down to more events, like even the cafe, and I'm sure we got a few things coming up. A few things have been postponed, but there's definitely a few things coming up. And we can even make a little we can maybe do a sponsor thing. We had Steve in a bath not long ago for the slime, so maybe we can get you and your clients in bath.
Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah.
We'll definitely try and arrange that. Well, thank you for today. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure having you on today, Jack.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to meet
It's
you.
lovely to meet you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is MK Snap, where we all belong.